I'm Kimberly from Dirt Floor Fibers, and welcome back. So sorry it's been forever since I've posted anything, but I feel like with the end of school, I've been working flat out and not actually accomplishing anything, so didn't really have anything to check in about. However, here we are, as you can tell by the back of my car, with another market Saturday. It is June 4th, I think, so I'm heading up to Irvington. I'm running ever so slightly behind schedule as always, but not too badly. I think everything will be okay. I'm trying out a slightly different setup this time. You guys know I've been struggling with trying to fit both product and shelving, like display units in my car. And so I was going to try something slightly different this time. I was going to bring just 6 crates instead of 8. And I was also going to do a 2-table setup. I basically went through my stash, both my books and all my yarn, and pulled out a bunch of books that I'm not really using a lot for inspiration anymore. Commercial yarn, that's just not my thing anymore right now. And I was going to kind of garage sale that out so it could go to a good home. But I was up until like 1 something last night putting labels on hand spun yarn, and at that point my feet were just so tired that I didn't want to make like 3 or 4 trips up and down the stairs to bring all that down here. So I had put a second table in my car, so I'd had a place to put all that stuff, but I didn't even bother bringing my tablecloth for it because I don't think I'm gonna set it up. I also learned that I can't count. I was super proud of myself. You can see the crates just over my shoulder there. So I said I was gonna put 6 crates in, and then I was going to see if I could fit all 3 big tubs of my products. So that way I'd be able to put my spinning wheel up here in the front seat. So I did. I got all my tubs in the back, a little bit of room to spare. I'm like, wow, I'm doing really great. And then I realized I put in 3 crates, not 6. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I squished 1 more in the back, squished 1 more here on the front seat, brought some stackable baskets for the hand spun that I think will work really well. So haven't tried setting any of this up, so we'll get to market and we'll see what happens. Now, according to the email I got yesterday, the market's supposed to have 80 vendors. I think that's what it said last time too, but I don't think there were anywhere near to 80, but I think that was because of the rain. Day's looking gorgeous so far, warm, but kind of bright and sunny, maybe a little overcasty right now. So hopefully everyone comes out for a good market. So wish me luck. I'm gonna pull out. See what happens. Check in a few minutes.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to.
All right, I am all finished at the farmer's market. It was a really great day. The weather was bright, sunny, maybe a little too sunny. I got a little bit of a sunburn on the back of my arm and the back of my neck, but that's okay. But the weather was great. Lots of people came out. There were definitely a lot of vendors there. I think when they said there were 80 vendors in the email, they weren't lying about that at all. It was absolutely jam-packed. I did try out my kind of new table setup. It's pretty similar to my old one. I'll see if I can put in a video right here so you can see what it looked like. But basically I took 5 crates with me instead of my usual 8, which freed up a little bit more room in my car, which is really nice. That did mean that I couldn't put all of my products and colorways out, so I just kind of picked and chose. Didn't put as many duplicates, but then I was able to keep my bins behind my table. And so that way it was really easy to get in there if I needed to get out more for somebody who wanted a larger number, or if I needed to restock or anything like that. So that worked out really well. I did also like having the hand spun in the wire baskets rather than the wooden crates, just because I feel like it showed off the fibers a little bit better, and it was a little bit easier for people to get in there and pick up the yarn and kind of feel it and see what it looked like and all of that. So that worked out really great. The downside, oh my gosh, you can tell how tired I am. The downside of the wire baskets is that they kind of hold a lot more yarn than I thought. So when I was up until 1:30 in the morning putting tags on all of my hand spun yarn, having 29 skeins packed away looked like a lot of yarn. I was really proud of that. But then when I got there and actually put everything in the wire baskets, I realized that 29 skeins didn't even fill up 2 baskets. And so I tipped one of them sideways and kind of stacked everything just to make it look like it was a little bit more full, which was fine. I don't think anybody could tell that it wasn't full. I mean, obviously it wasn't full, but I don't think people went, wow, that basket's really empty or anything like that. So I liked that, but that kind of makes me realize that even though I have like another 35 skeins upstairs that are all ready to go, I'm really going to have to get spinning between now and the trunk show and the wind's blowing like all of my stuff over. There we go. The trunk show on the 18th, I'm going to get spinning because I don't want to get there. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. Anyway, I don't want to get there and suddenly set out everything on the table and be like, wow, I brought 70 skeins of yarn with me, and then look at it and go, wow, I didn't bring anything with me. So I'm going to have to really look at my stock to make sure I have enough for that trunk show. But yeah, so I think that went all really well. I think one of the downsides of the farmer's market was the fact that since we're getting into summer and it's warmer, people aren't quite as inclined to purchase yarn, especially expensive yarn, when they're not like in gift giving mode or anything like that. So I am looking at kind of having some lower price points of maybe finished objects, as well as some kind of do-it-yourself sorts of kits. A lot of people are just starting out, so like to try new things. So I think those will go over really well. And I also want to make sure I can find another way to display my finished objects really well. I think some people walk by and they see the yarn and they're like, oh, pretty colors of yarn, but I don't knit, so they keep going. It's really only the people who come in to actually look at everything that tend to see the finished objects. So I kind of want to work on that setup a little bit. The other trouble, and I'm hoping this isn't going to be a problem the entire summer, otherwise I might lose my patience because I have a terrible temper, but I'm trying to be really patient and understanding. And that's the shade situation at this farmer's market. So I love the location of my booth. Last time the space next to me was occupied, but this time the people who were next to me were over one more space. And so it looked like, sorry, I put the car in the background. So it looked like they purposely left 2 spaces open, one right next to me and one behind that, to create kind of a pass-through of some sort. Which was kind of nice because that kind of put me on a corner, which was great. I wasn't expecting that though. I thought there was going to be somebody next to me and I set up accordingly. If I had known I was on a corner, I probably would have set up a little bit differently. But that meant that the way the sun was coming in, my canopy was casting shade for the people on the other side of me, and my full table setup and where I had my spinning wheel set up was all in direct sunlight. So that would not have been a problem because I did have a little shade on the other side of the tent, except for the fact that the people next to me, it was a cat rescue. Ladies were super lovely, chatted with them all day. They had these adorable little kittens in their booth. But they had their tent set up where they had a table on the side, a table in the back, and the table on the other side. So it was like a U shape. And their kittens were on the back table, so they would be in the shade, which meant that the middle of their booth for people to actually stand in was only a few feet wide. So you could only get a few people in there at a time. And they had a ton of volunteers in the morning, which meant that all of their volunteers were standing in the shady spot cast by my tent, right in front of like the corner where our 2 tents came together. They also throughout the day used that side of my tent as like a pass through. Every time they wanted to get around the back of their tent, they cut through the corner of mine. And eventually their chair on the side of their table on that one side of the U was backed farther and farther into my tent space. And because their kittens were on that back table and there was only a few feet of space in front of the kittens, a lot of people cut through my booth to go look at their kittens, which again, the ladies were really lovely. And I didn't mind. I didn't say anything. I didn't complain at all. But at one point, one of the nice ladies was like, oh my gosh, you're getting so much sun. You should come over here in the shade. And I just kind of looked at her and I said, I'd love to, but I can't because you guys are using that space. And she's like, oh, well, you could sit over here, kind of pointing to like the middle of my tent. And I'm like, but then nobody would be able to get to my table. And she's like, oh yeah, that's true. So I stayed in the sun, got a sunburn. And I kept trying to take breaks because I had pushed my table forward like 2 or 3 feet into my tent. So I would have plenty of room behind my table to be able to get back there, to get to my drink, to be able to get through my like checkout stuff, my stock. And the people behind me, they were selling these really cute like bird houses, I guess, that they had handmade out of like recyclable material. And one of the event coordinators were kind of joking around with him at the beginning. Oh, you didn't bring a tent. And the guy was joking back with like, oh, like we like being outside and all of that. Well, he liked being outside until it got super hot and sunny. And he basically just started scooching his chair back further and further and further under my tent. And so I was having to like awkwardly squeeze in behind him to get to my water and stuff. And he was like literally a few feet like past his space inside of my tent. And again, I didn't say anything. I was trying to be really, really nice. But when their like chair umbrella was literally sitting on top of my tubs, pushed up against my table, like, I'm sorry, but you're too far inside my space. So I was really patient. I was really nice. I was really proud of myself for not being a horrible person. I'm so growing as a human being. But I really hope it's not going to be like that all summer. Because I'm such a passive aggressive person, please don't judge me. I might set my booth space up a little bit differently next time. I'm working on ordering some different display type stuff. And so I might push all of my display like to the sides of my tent just to kind of block everybody out. Except for maybe cat ladies, because I kind of like them and they let me pet the kittens. So that was kind of worth sharing my shade with them. So that was kind of nice. But birdhouse people, you get no shade. You were not nice. You were crabby. You stole my shade. Anyway. Anything else could happen? Oh, I had one lovely lady who bought a skein of hand-dyed yarn last time she was at the market, and she brought me the hat she made out of the yarn. Oh my gosh. So, first of all, I love seeing things that people made. I love that. But I also love the fact that this woman, before she came to the farmer's market, thought to herself, oh my gosh, Yarn Lady would love to see what I did with her yarn. I'm going to especially put this project in my purse so I can track her down and show her it, which that was really special. I really appreciated the thought, the fact that she cared enough to bring that back and show me. It was so cute. She had done it, I can't remember if she said for her niece or maybe a granddaughter, I can't remember. But it had this adorable like bright purple pom-pom on the top. It was such a cute project. She did such a good job on the hat. So I was really, really happy that she brought that back to show me. I loved seeing it. And then I had another super nice lady who was looking at my merino sea cell blend yarn, which I'm gonna have to get more of that stuff. It was so great. But sea cell is basically made from seaweed, and it feels like silk, but is supposedly as absorbent as cotton. And so she was playing with the yarn. She loved it. She was trying to figure out how many skeins she needed. And in the end, she completely cleaned me out of all the skeins that I had of my sea cell. So I really hope that when she knits that up, that she A, loves it, because I love that yarn, but also shows me either the object that she makes or something like a picture or something, because it was super, super cute. So yeah, so met a lot of great people, had a great time. I think my total sales were somewhere around like $350, give or take a little bit. So not as good as last time. Last time I broke 500, but you know, it's getting warmer outside, so that's nothing to sneeze at. So I was really pleased with that day. And I have another farmer's market coming up on next Saturday, this Saturday, you know, 1 week from now, Saturday, in Urbana. I'm hoping that one's a little bit more crowded than it was last time. I'm hoping that it was the weather that kept vendors away, because I think last time there were only 5 vendors total, plus a musician, which, looking at that in comparison to Irvington, which had like 80 vendors and a musician, it's just, I think we need to do a little bit more to attract more people to come, make it a little more of a tourist destination, if you will, so people are willing to come into town to go to the farmer's market and not just have locals, although I love the locals too. So I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, had a great day. Hope you like my booth photos, and if you've been to any farmers markets or you've been vending at farmers markets, give me some comments below to let me know how it's been going for you. All right, well, I'll check in and see you next time. Bye.